And I had prepared myself because to read the motion. So when I was rehearsing the motion, I remember I was rehearsing it. The guy is now on RDC. He was also my PA when I was doing my political campaigns. It's called Gore Gofin. And then he's a cultural man. He's this guy who believes in culture. So Gore told me, but Anite, do you know the age difference between yourself and President Museveni? That you just want to go and read this motion while standing and just talking to him. You've got to accord him the respect because you're asking him to offer himself for presidency. So you cannot ask this while standing. So when you reach that point of urging him to offer himself, please go on your knees and urge him as an African woman. We're three people who read the motion. I was not the only one who read the motion. I began reading the motion. Honorable Anite came, read the middle part. I passed it to Honorable Pete. Anite passed it to Honorable Peter. Then I concluded the motion. And now, while concluding the motion, the justification part was now read by Honorable Anite. So reading the names was by Honorable Peter. So I said, when you are going to read the names, when we say Sudhir Byaruhanga, you have to stand up and shout, Museveni woye, NRM woye, and declare that as for you and your people, you're going to give him the support and he must offer himself. So we made it so dramatic that
it was like a coup.
It wasn't a coup.
You are completely changing the status quo of everything.
The status quo was the president. The president was President Museveni.
But you are changing almost like everything that.
No, all the others were ambition. Okay, you were affecting people's ambitions. Yeah, that's what you could say.
You affected. So then you start.
So we did that, and I'll tell you, by the time we're ready, we had 100 signatures. Our signatures grew up to 200.
And so what brought the 200? Because people had resisted or they thought they had nowhere around.
So now you should know that the president is seated on the chair and he's looking at you and he's seeing everyone who has signed.
So people started struggling to sign.
Yes, so then I got the thing, the paper, and then put it there, please be signing. So there was this long queue as we are reading names, so there was this queue that kept on growing.
So in other words, you had authentic 100 signatures. The rest were fake.
So then the signatures went up to 212. And I remember Right Honorable Mbabazi was signature 102. 02. So the signature group, there would have been more than 100 because there are some people who are out of the country. This pressure was so much to the extent that those who are out of the country had to fly back in the country. Those who were in their villages had to fly and all head to Chankwanzi.
I saw Amama Mbabazi looking so cunning and confused at that time and wondering what you had just done.
No, first of all, yes.
Did you feel like you would anytime get a slap, only that he's a gentleman?
No, I knew that I had a good relationship with Right Honorable Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi because my husband was a very close family member to them. They were like literally grooming him. So I had been to their home with my husband. But even when I joined Parliament, the way I related with Right Honorable was excellent. I remember that every time we had a position of NRM, he will call us to his office at plot 18, Nakasero. He will call us and literally teach us how we're going to go about with this motion.
If you had a very strong relationship with the Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi at the time, and you were moving, smoothly with him, then why did you come up with that idea, knowing that actually he was also interested for the same seat? Wasn't that betrayal?
You see, you don't have to hate your...
Wasn't that like betrayal?
It wasn't betrayal because...
Don't you think you needed to maybe consult him? I
didn't have to consult because my choice of candidate was very clear, and it's still very clear in my mind. It's President Museveni. Even tomorrow, I will still support President Museveni. And I've told you that I had personal reasons to support President Museveni. So
after you knelt down and asked the president to stand again and serve, how did you feel? Like, tell me that night after that whole...
So perhaps if I tell you the night. So I had to run the story and put it and pass it to the media because I was the spokesperson and got that clip where I knelt. I didn't know that I was going to make the headlines the following day. But anyway, then made the headlines. It is until I made the headlines that I am like, oh, it is this serious. I didn't know how serious this was.
Yes.
And so my feelings now started coming out. All of a sudden, from that night where I asked them to stand up and I was abused, to now being glorified.
So you realize that actually you deal with chameleons
Of
in the party because they camouflage. The same guys who are nailing you for having taken that bold step are the same ones who are applauding you at the time.
Good point.
So does that explain the kind of people you have in the party?
No, it explains that
they
in
are not
politics,
true to themselves.
It explains that in politics there's no permanent position, therefore no permanent friends and no permanent enemies.
So after you achieved that, did you feel like you had done the right thing?
I felt that I'd done the right thing because now the numbers went up, and then they started telling me, go and get the signature of the Prime Minister, go and get the signature of the Prime Minister.
Did you ever go to the president and tell him the truth of the people who didn't support him?
I didn't. I didn't have to. Even right now, I cannot tell their names because they changed their position. They didn't stay permanently opposing it. So that is politics. Maybe at the time they had not understood that he has to be the leader. So
did the president give you a call that evening? And say,
the following day,
daughter.
in the morning, that was probably my first call from him. The following day, yes, in the morning.
And how did you feel having gotten?
He asked me the question,
a humble girl.
How did I do that?
From Koboko.
Of course, from Arua initially.
Formerly Arua, from UCU, media center, turned into a politician. All of a sudden, having a conversation with the president. How did it feel? You continued kneeling while talking to him on phone?
Oh, yes, I actually did. Yes, I actually did, because the call came in when I was going to shower. And I remember myself with my towel and bench and hearing him. I first stood in one place and then I had to go on my knees and continue with the call. So that's correct. That I did. Up to today, I kneel for him. Okay. It's not like a one-off kneeling. Kneeling is from the heart, isn't it? Up to today, I kneel for the president.
So then after that, your life changed?
Yes, my life changed because then I came back home after the retreat. Oh, because my husband was like, he's a more politician than myself. He called me and when I was explaining to him, said, oh my God, what did you not do? Did you have to do it yourself? And I'm like, darling, I just believe in the president. So I didn't know that I was offending anybody. So I just did what I did. So
you became a darling all of a sudden to the president. And you completely got a green card and access to him.
I don't know.
Immediately. Yeah, of course. So you'll tell me, immediately
I don't know, but
things changed for you.
Remember that
at that time you were not yet a minister.
I wasn't, but remember that in 2011, 17th December 2011, this is happening in 2014. But on 17th December, the president, even when I was little known to him, he came for my wedding. So things changed for me then, because I just walked to him after a Chankwanzi meeting, after a caucus meeting in State House, walked to him and asked him to come for my wedding, and he came. Just like that. So I had already built a relationship.
A relationship. But did you ask him, did you place a cost to that?
I didn't place a cost.
Or like tell him, President, this is what I want. Everybody has their own
No,
problems,
I did not. Surprisingly, I did not. And I remember
there's no any request that, or whatever that you throw, a list that you throw
No, I did not. And
did he ever ask you?
He didn't ask me.
If you wanted
So all
anything.
I wanted from him was his presence. And he came. And he then pledged to build the church because the church was very small. And he kept on looking up and saying, is this a cathedral? Right?
So then he attends your wedding. After attending your wedding, then he becomes your personal friend.
Yes, because...
And then he appoints you a minister.
He appoints me a minister in 2015. 20th March was
almost a year later.
Less
than a year later.
Yes. Then that was when I became a minister.
Do you feel like that was the reward for what you did?
When he spoke about why he appointed me as the minister, the justification he gave was completely different. Because he referred to an interface that we had with him and the young people who were putting lots of demands in front of him, and I objected it, and I told them that, look here, instead of asking him to give you this, pay you this, they were asking huge sums of money, 70 million, 80 million, 20 million, 15 million. And for me, it didn't go well with me, and I'm like, oh, we are in front of the Fountain of Honor, and he has, if anything, he's done so good for us as a country. We need to be praising him and thanking him. So he makes reference to that and says, from that day, I thought Anite, I knew that Anite is incorruptible, and she was the right person to be the Minister for Youth. So that was what he said at my swearing in. And I don't forget those small, important things that he said. They look little, but they're very important.
Very important. Did you feel like you had gone to another level, and then the Anite that people knew changed to the other Anite of the high political class, close to the henchmen that ran the show in this government?
Why do you call him the henchman?
Not the henchmen, the guys who are close and, you know.
No. Okay, so, Sudhir, this is what happened. Two things happened to me. All of a sudden, I rose to fame. Then all of a sudden, I accrued lots of enemies.
I remember there was a time when you even said that your life was in danger.
That was way
Later,
like when I became the Minister of Investment. So I accrued lots of enemies, and then I got this attention. So the fame came with friends and enemies. So you wouldn't know who is a genuine friend and who is just pretending. So it came with those mixed things. But yeah, that is life. I realized that was the new normal for me, and I had to stay with it. And up to today, the enemies that I accrued then are still my enemies, and I believe that they're still.
And you still live with them and you eat with them.
And I know that they're not amused, because from that time on, I kept on progressing. Because for me, it was the beginning of my journey, political journey, perhaps to say, for lack of a better word. But it's okay. There's nobody who can.
No, but maybe